Hi, my name's Ellin and I've been a foster carer. I'm currently a support lodging carer. Over the years I've fostered roughly about 13 children. 3 of them was from one family and I looked after all the children from there. When I first entered into thinking about doing it, everyone kept saying to me, "You are mad. Oh, I wouldn't have that person, a nick from you, this and the other." Can I just say that's not true? Not totally true. Like any walk of life, you meet people for all different characters. Yes, you get the ones who are an absolute challenge to look after and they can, test you to the limits. But a lot of kids are in care by no fault of their own, and I think it's important to say that. I've known children who are in care because their parents had died or been very ill. My mum was ill for a long time. I think we was probably in care for about a year. And then we went back home when she got better. And that was another reason I didn't really want to do it, maybe because my mum's still alive at the moment. And I know that's a part in her life that she never really wants to remember. But I think the reason, I speak for myself, but I know for the group that we have, all of us that are there, we have a little support lodging group and we meet 2 or 3 times a year. We're all there because we want to give something back to those young people. And there is a difference between fostering and doing supporting lodgings. When you're fostering a child, you are responsible for every aspect of their daily life and how they're looked after. In actual fact, it's like looking after one of your own children. So if they'd be any age from sort of primary age right up to secondary age, you are responsible when they're small to get them ready, make sure they have their breakfast, all their meals, you take them to the doctors, their clinic, dentist, whatever needs to be done. As I said, it's just having your own child. Now when you're doing support lodging, that's different because they're usually 17 plus, and what the work we do with them is really preparing them for independent living. So that means that they have to do their own cleaning their own bedrooms. We have days when they do their own washing. You provide morning and evening meal. But usually once or twice in a week they cook a meal as well. It's a bit challenging for me because I love to cook, and most of them do spaghetti bolognese. Spaghetti bolognese, I've had them till it come out my ears, but it's a start. But you're also there for the emotional aspect for them. If they're at college or they're at university or they're working and they have problems, like you would when your children begin to grow up, you're there to give advice and guidance still. I first looked at doing fostering many years ago, but my children, I have 5 and all grown up, were still quite small, and I felt after training that it probably wouldn't be advisable to have my own children as well, because I had 5 of them, so it would have been quite a handful. But then when the youngest one, and she's just recently moved out, she's 29, when I just had her, I thought, I've got time, because it's a commitment. And you have to spend time with them. They're not just here in your house as an extension. They are part of the family. So it was about giving back to young people who have not had a good start maybe in life. I also had a spell in care. I wasn't naughty or anything like that. My mum was very seriously ill. And my stepfather at the time couldn't take care of us. There was 5 of us. Number 5 seems to be quite usual in our family. And so for a very short while, we were in care. And obviously I saw other children there who were there on a permanent basis. And it's always stayed with me. It always stayed with me. And, and I've always felt quite blessed that although I was there for a short while, I was going home, and I knew I was going home. And these kids weren't going home necessarily, and so the work I've always done is working with children. I've been a youth worker. I've gone up the ranks. Before I retired, I was head of education, and I've always done charitable work. But with the fostering and the support lodging, it's something very close to my heart, and that's why I did it later on in years, because a lot of people think, well, hang on a minute, don't you want to just enjoy yourself? I actually get a lot from doing fostering and support lodgings. I have one young lady, she's always in contact with me. She told me she is never ever going to leave me. I spoke to her last night. She's just in her 3rd year in uni, and doing very well, doing fashion designing. I can't name her for obvious reason, but she made me a beautiful mask, because of obviously COVID-19. She's a designer, so she designed mine. I've got designer mask, and I'm very proud of them. She calls me Mama E. They all call me Mama E. That's my nickname now, Mama E. Whether you're fostering or doing support lodgings, each child's an individual. They all come with different situations and backgrounds, and they have their own character. So it's a challenge in trying to sometime get to grips with that in the early stages. And obviously, some of them have been to many different homes, and if they have, they're usually not that willing to be friendly in the beginning. So it's a very challenging thing to do, caring. However, social service provide a lot of training about the development of children, the understanding of children, the mental health of children. And when you are doing this study, and I've worked in education and I've worked with children for over 25 years, so I come with some own experience. I have 5 children and 17 grandchildren of my own, so I'm quite well versed working with children. And one of the things that you need to have patience, because you don't do it at your convenience. Well, I've done this for you and you should be feeling okay. You have to really, really put the child first and let them warm to you. And that's not always an easy road. It's getting to know that young person's character, what upsets them, what makes them feel happy, and that takes time. It's a situation where you need that child to get to know you and to trust you. And the young lady I just talked about, when she first came, she wasn't reciprocal. I was very nice to her, but she wasn't necessarily nice back to me. And it got to the point where, I thought to myself, well, I need to really try and see if I can get to see why she's like this. And then obviously they tell you their stories, which I'm not going to tell you about. And then you realise why. I will say generally, most of the times when I've done that, it's because they have trusted in the past and they felt the adult let them down. And so it's about them feeling, well, if I give my trust to this person, are they going to let me down as well? And once you understand it as a carer, it makes it a lot easier in waiting for that moment when they suddenly come in and say, hi, how are you? And you think, oh, there's a change in their character. And the training that you get in social services prepares you for that. And actually it can help you to make that decision whether you want to do this job or not, because it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but very rewarding. Not. But I really find it rewarding that if a placement hasn't gone too well, and then you get a letter or a text, or they come and see you and say, I'm sorry, they've gone somewhere else that's not been so good for them, and they think, I realise that I missed out on you. And I've had that, because you can't guarantee there's going to be a reward. And so the way I look at it, if I treat that young person as an extension of my family, or part of my family rather, and it hasn't been successful, and I can literally count on one hand, just maybe 2 or 3, but I can say out of that 3, 2 of them came back and contacted my daughter and said, can you let your mum know I want to get in contact? So just do it, and gave her my number, and she phoned me on my birthday. And then I had a letter saying, I'm really sorry, I wasn't really good to you, but so that's a reward. And the reward is when it has gone well, like this young lady who's in uni in her 3rd year, and she tells you, Mama E, I'm never leaving you. You're not going to be a successful millionaire or anything like that. As I said, it's a commitment like being a nurse. They're not really paid well. And obviously, if you're going to be looking after, a young person, you need some financial support to do that, to buy them clothes and so on. But yeah, you do get paid, but it's not something that you earn a lot of money out from. But it's a lot of giving of yourself and giving another young person a chance in life. I think it's important before you enter into doing caring that you do actually have the time to do it. One of the things I've always prided myself on is that when I've got a new placement, if I have been working at the time, I would take literally maybe a month off, 3 weeks to a month, to actually help that young person settle in. I wouldn't want somebody, I suppose it's more about support lodgings than the fostering bit, because if you're fostering, you need to be there. Okay, you need to be there as you would do as a normal mum bringing up young children. But you need to make sure that you have time if you've got your own children, or to be there and just taking up space in your room. They have to feel part of that family. Usually have like a greeting session. Usually when they come, I put like a cup with their name, if I can find one with their name, a card that says welcome home. I think first impressions are really important. And then I would arrange maybe for a week or two later for my family to come and meet them if they want. The process is really thorough. And I know they have to be thorough, because you can't have just anybody taking care of a young person or a child. You have to make sure that person is a safe person for that child to be with. And so it can be deemed a little bit intimidating, but if you understand the reasons why they have to do that, then I think that helps you a lot. The training is phenomenal. We get every year a list of all the different training. I tend to do all of them if I know them. My background is safeguarding, but I still do it because, when I'm doing my caring bit, I wear my caring hat and I join the other ladies that are in my group, not because I have that background. And there's been things I don't know about. And I've learned a lot about first aid and had to revive a baby and things like that, which probably I didn't have that skill before. So the training is phenomenal. I can't fault them on that. And I get great support from my social work, and I think that's really important. I love to foster and do support lodging because I find it very rewarding. And I know that sounds a bit cheesy, but it's the truth. And I feel that I'm giving something back. I've experienced it, as I said, on a personal basis for a very short while when my mum wasn't well. And I believe that every young person, however they come into the world, not all of us come into the world the way probably we would choose if we could choose. And I think they deserve an opportunity to have a family life. And now I've got this lovely nickname called Mama E. I know it kind of ages me, but I'm of the age. I think that if you're thinking about it, that means that you have a heart for it, because otherwise you wouldn't be thinking. It's not something that people normally think, oh, I want to be a foster carer. As I said, it's one of these roles in life that it's something about you as a person that you want to give something back. But having said that, it's really important that you understand the full scope of what that entails. And if you're thinking about it, pursue the thinking and inquiry, go along, have a talk, go along to the session, then it will help you to clarify whether you feel you can do that role. And there's lots of support there for you. You can come and sit in the support meetings, you can talk to other people like myself about the challenges, the good bits, the bad and the ugly, because they're all there. And if you're a parent, there's good, bad and ugly in bringing up your children. But the most important thing is that you're there as the adult to help that young person.